we're going to be learning about CartoonEyeSetup. So the first thing we're going to do is very similar to the basic eye setup. We're going to create a polygon sphere, and I might scale this up to 1.5 and rotate it a bit, 90 degrees, and I'm going to again make sure that the flow of the mesh follows the iris and is pointing out, in this case, the x-axis right here. And now that I've added some values, I want to make sure this is all zeroed out. So I will now freeze transformations, and I'm going to call this geo. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create an eyelid that I can use to put in some blinks. And the way I'm going to do that is through a NURBS primitive, a NURBS sphere. I'm going to scale this up, and if you look at the input, the make NURBS sphere here, you'll see that there is a start sweep and a end sweep. I want that to act as -90, act as the eyelid to be able to blink for this eye. 0 and 180 should be exact numbers, integers right here, and 90-degree angles or 0 angles. And I'll scale it down. I just want it to be just a little bit larger than my eye. And I've opened up this sweep just so that I can see where my eye will be. And I can turn on wireframe on shaded so it'll help. So this is going to be used as the blink, and this is going to be my eye. Now, one thing I need to also worry about for my polygon, but not my NURBS, is my UVs. So I want to create UVs, and I will do planar mapping. In this case, it will be the x-axis project. And now I can use just a perfect square texture map on here later on if I wanted to. Now I'm going to move on to animation, and I'm going to change the name. I have iGeo here, but I'm going to call this eyelid geo, and I'll take both of them, and you notice that I've kept them. Let's freeze transformations. You'll notice that I kept them at the 0 axis, and I'm going to group them 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I've kept everything so that the pivot point is in the center. This is especially important for the CartoonEyeSetup, and I'm going to rename each group. So ICNT, iScale. This is very important for the cartoon setup, and iAim. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is grab my iConnect, and I'm going to place it on my cartoon character. So I'll push it up here. This will be some weird robot, I guess. And I'll place it here. Now, because it's a cartoony character, what I want to do is I want it to be able to be flat. So I'm going to grab this eye scale, and I'm going to flatten it out quite a bit, maybe 0.2, like this. And then the eye connect here, I'm going to rotate it down, and I'm I'm going to place it somewhere in my character, about like that. Alright, so what I want to be able to do is I still want this eye to be able to look around, but as if it's a round thing. I want it to be able to move as if it's a round eye and yet still be flat in 2D space. So the way I'm going to do that is I have my eye, geo, and connect in place. I'm now going to create an eye control. So I go create an eye, and I'm going to lift it up and try to make it equal to this eye, and so 90, 90, 0. Okay, close this out, maybe scale it up a bit, and lift it up some more so that it's about equal to this eye. Good. And I'm going to rename the name to iCTL, and I'm going to freeze transformations. And next I'm going to group this one more time. Grab it, and G, and I'm going to call this iCTL CNT. So that will be my connection group. Now, I'm going to create the constraint to be able to move the eye. So I'll grab my eye here, and I'll grab my eye aim here, and I'll go constraint, aim, maintain offset, vector, okay, add. So now when I move this, my eye moves as if following the eye control. Now I have a small problem. I feel that it's not moving fast enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that constraint. I'm going to move this one closer so that it does a little bit, so I don't have to move it as far to change it. And I'm going to freeze transforms again. Again, I'll grab my eye control, eye aim, and then I'm going to add that, and let's see if this gets us a little bit. Yeah, I can go a little bit farther. So now I have this, and I need to connect it, because if I move this around, the eye is not following. So I have my eye control there. So I will grab my root, because that's the main one. Command connect eye connect, constrain, maintain offset, parent, constrain scale, and I'm going to do the same thing for my eye control connect, parent, scale. So now when I move this, that follows, and when I move this around, this eye will follow. Well, you'll notice that the eyelid actually follows also, which is good. So, alright. So I want to do two more things. The first is, let's add some texture to this eye, just so it's a little bit more clear. So I'm going to go to the hyper shade. And what I'll do is I'll just create, because it's a cartoony character, I'm going to use a surface shader. And I'll add this surface shader only to my eye, not to the NURB sphere. And it's black right now, but I'm going to use a ramp to create the eyeball. Okay, so out color, ramp, and we press 6, and we can now see this. So if we look at this eye, I can go to UV. We'll see that the UVs, we can see exactly, we need to put a circle here and the rest needs to be white. So I'm going to change some attributes here. I'm going to change it from VRamp to circular ramp. So now it's circles, and you'll notice that the red is in the center, the green is on the outside, and the blue is the furthest out. So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to kill the blue, and I'm going to make this one white. Alright, and I'll move it about here, and I want this to be a lot sharper, and I'll just make it black. And actually what I'll do is I'll do one more, and this one will be blue. So this will be a blue-eyed character with an iris, and I want it to be quite sharp like so. And you can see how using this ramp I have now created an eyeball. Now it's a very cartoony flat eye, but that's what I want. Alright, so next what I want to do is I want to be able to make my nerve sphere blink. Alright, and the way I'll do that is I'm going to go to my eye control, and I'm going to add two attributes. Attribute 1 is blink up, add, and blink lower, low, add. Okay, upper and lower. So upper will be controlling, let's grab this eyelid geo, controlling the upper will control the start sweep right here, here and here, and the end sweep right here will be controlled by the blink low. Okay, so we can use set driven keys for this. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to animate, set driven keys, set, and this will be my driver. My eye control is my driver, and let's do blink up. Now when it's at 0, then we shouldn't see this eyelid. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to make this eyelid disappear about here. We can just do the same thing for here. Okay, so at 95, alright, now when I want to do my set driven keys, I have to make sure I don't grab this. I need to grab my make nerve sphere, load driven, and you'll see that it has make nerve sphere here, start sweep. So when this is at 0, there's no blink, and then we key. Now when this is at 1, then my start sweep will go to this one, should be completely closed, and we're going to key, and let's test it out, and 0 to 1. We're going to limit this information, but in a little bit. So that's 0. Okay, now we're going to do the same for the lower one. So instead of start sweep, end sweep, and instead of blink up, blink low. So at 0, this thing will be open, which is end sweep, and we're going to key that. Then we're going to go to blink low, make it 1, and we need to grab this one again. And now we're going to hold this all the way up to 360 and key, and that should be it. Let's check it out before. So when this is 1, he blinks. When these are 0, it's on. And in between, you can, at 0.7 it's about here, at 0.9 it's there, so you can actually go in between. So I can close this up, close this up. Now the last thing I want to do is I want to actually limit this to 0 and 1. But I don't want it to be binary, so we're going to go to Edit Attribute, and we're going to go blink up, has minimum of 0, has maximum of 1. Okay, and then this one has minimum of 0, has maximum of 1, close. So now when we animate, it'll be a little bit easier. We can only go between 0 and 1. And same thing with the lower one. And we now have a cartoon eye.